Hi, everyone. I'm Michael Bruce, CMO at Agent Moves, and welcome to our Good to Great series. We're all about sharing amazing stories of top realtors and how they got there so we can help make more realtors great. Hey, let's jump in with our guest today. I'd like you to meet Renee Forsythe. We always like to talk about something other than real estate as we introduce our agents, and some interesting, unique things about Renee. Two things. One of her two boys is in the military. I'd love her to tell you about that. It sounded like a pretty cool experience he's having. The other is that she has MS and like to share some things with that as well. So Renee, thank you so much for joining us and thank you for sharing. So tell us a little about both experiences.
Well, thank you for having me. And I will try not to talk with my hands too much. That's a thing of mine. And I'm not even Italian. Yet, first thing you mentioned was that my oldest son is in the U.S. Army. I'm a proud, proud Army mom. He is in geospatial intelligence and just rocked ASVAB and is just doing amazing and is headed to paratrooper school next month. And just loving it, and I love that he's loving it.
Wow. Wow. Fabulous.
Uh, yeah,
Very exciting.
my younger one is full into playing football. We used to all be rugby players, and we've made that transition now. So that's fun. He's, you know, bulking and lifting and doing all the great things there.
Oh, excellent. Excellent. And tell us a little about your experience with MS as well for the audience.
Yeah, I was diagnosed October the 8th, 2012. It's one of those dates you really don't forget. And unlike cancer, MS is not trying to kill me. It just tries to slow me down. And I think it's one of the best gifts I've ever had because it did slow me down. I am one of those that has to be involved and doing all the time. Proud adult ADHD
Yeah, I'm with you.
thriver.
I'm with
And
you.
right. And we have to stay busy all the time. And we have 17 projects at least. And MS really got me to slow down, enjoy my boys, enjoy my family, enjoy the things around me a lot more. And it's given me the opportunity to see the obstacles that come in front of me as true opportunities to look at things differently. So the bold law, change the way you look at things and the things you look at change. That is truly the way I live my life. So
Well,
I'm function in a wheelchair outside of the house.
Well, I'll tell you, it is just your attitude, your energy. It's incredibly inspiring. We've talked before this for a few minutes. I'm going through my own stuff, but it's very different. And again, it's like an inspiration to, have that kind of a positive attitude and how you've turned it, into it's part of your life and not like you had a chance, anything that you could do about it. Right.
Yeah. Control the controllables, right? You can't do anything about it. I could probably sleep a little bit more, but no, we all have to have a little bit of improvement every day.
Right. Right. Oh, excellent. So now tell us about the transition. How did you get involved in real estate? Let's get talking about this and your success, and let's start from the beginning. How did you get involved?
Yeah, so I like to say I was on the Midwest plan. I went to undergrad and I did it in 3.5 years. Got out, was engaged. We bought a house, got married. Had the first baby. Relocated from Kansas City out here to Colorado. It's closer to my family and a lot more fun and better weather. So, we really enjoyed that transition and then had baby number two by the time I was 27. And my undergrad was in journalism and communications. And had the opportunity to take a position with a company based here in Denver that was ranked as the number one place to work. And I have a lot of curiosity. So I wanted to know why, what made it the number one place to work. And then shortly thereafter, they turned around and got sold. And so then I wanted to learn AutoCAD and I went into work for a company that taught me how to use AutoCAD and I drew new plot plans. And then I got my master's in public policy and worked for a national home warranty company here as their marketing manager, and then was the community outreach coordinator for a crisis center. So I've done the public speaking part. I've done the plot plans. I had done the public policy part. I like to say I circled the drain of real estate for a long time. And then Joe Bogar's team hired me here as their listing manager, and I drank from that fire hose
Hmm.
for 4 or 5 months. And then they said, hey, you're kind of better with people than you are with paperwork. So I became an agent, and it's the rest is history. That was 8 years ago.
Wow, wow. Okay, so you get started. Great story, and I love how, and so many have so many different interesting stories. A lot like around real estate, kind of like you. Somewhere they were touching it. Their parents always looked at new homes when they were kids, so they were in and out of homes, and then they married an architect. Some way that they were connected to real estate. One guy's an appraiser. Has their appraisal business for 30 years and finally decided, well, why am I not also selling homes, and had this great sphere of influence with 30 years of people with appraisal. So everything seems a lot to be around this. So tell us about those first couple of years. You get involved. What happens? How do you kick off your rookie year?
So I took Keller Williams' program called Bold to start off with, and it was life changing enough to tattoo it on my arm. Business Objective Life by Design, and it really taught me the best habits. So creating the routine, having the consistency, showing up every single day, taking good care of your clients so that you don't have to do as much prospecting as you do just follow up and nurturing your sphere. I think the last couple of years have really baffled me. I had, in all honesty, last year was my worst year ever. And I had some personal health things and some personal things I was dealing with. And what I realized is I completely lost my consistency and my pattern of the day. I started ignoring my time blocks and that sort of thing. So those are all the things that if I go back to it, just the basics, run the play, then it works. So I started back on the horse, the last couple months, and now I've got things in the works again.
Excellent, excellent. So tell me a little bit about the journey. I want kind of, viewers to, the idea here is that they pick up some nuggets of information, one nugget from, an interview like this, and it's a home run for them, right? Just to take it with
Yes.
you. And so as, you get started with Bold, with Keller Williams, talk about those first couple of years. What were you doing that was creating success for you?
Yeah, so I like to do what I enjoy, and I knew with two little boys that I needed to show for them and stay in their life. And so I built a bunker, and I have a she shed and a studio in the backyard. It's not a 4 season thing, so it's nice and frosty today. But what I did was I followed the and I said, okay, well, I can do this. And if I'm going to do it, I might as well double my business every year for the first 5 years. I had my first year numbers and they were okay. And I said, all right, just keep meeting with people, just keep going to events, just keep adding people to my database. And I went to rugby events and I reminded people that I was in real estate. The good thing that really helped me out, that really helped give me a kickstart, is that I volunteered heavily with a men's rugby team here in Denver and then with a couple other nonprofits. And that volunteering that I was doing before was building those relationships that I was able to transition into or use for real estate as well and help people in that way. So I just sort of, I volunteer for the booster clubs. I volunteer because I want to show up for my community. And when I do that, then it's a very Zig Ziglar type of thing. And continuously surrounding myself with high level people through mastermind groups and going to trainings and things like that. Again, picking up little nuggets. You do become who you hang around with. And I like to joke with Just Star that I would like to become her when I grow up.
No, that's great. And I love that because I find that when agents kind of find a niche, like rugby is a good example, right? Like I have, some of them they've gone to some universities with huge alumni, right? Another way to be connected, played a sport, whatever it might have been in college, and then use that as connection. So any of these niches, you're a runner and find running groups on whatever it might be, I find really helps agents with their success, right? People want to do business with people that are like them. Is that what you found?
That's it. When the only thing you have in common with somebody is being able to assist them with real estate, that tie is not strong, and that's a 30-day relationship. And that doesn't work on online dating, and it doesn't work anywhere else. So when you can build your base and have at least one thing in common. So my kids wrestle, great. Then I get to know all the wrestling parents and I see where I can get involved. And then I also love to listen to Mel Robbins type podcasts, things like that, self-growth. And so I just need one or two people that's also like that. And then we get together and we have coffee and we discuss. And then there's a double tie, right? And then I find out what their industry is, and if they're financial planners, or if they're whatever, if they're a you know a surrounding industry, then I want to tie them in, and I want to know how I can help them help their business, because we'll feed each other.
Yeah. Excellent, excellent. No, I love that. So now looking at coming into this next year, you feel like you know what maybe didn't go right for you last year. Tell me some of the things you're kind of committed to get that, to scale it up and get this back to where you want it to be.
Yeah, as I was doubling business, I brought on a virtual assistant, and I have learned that I'm not very skilled at hiring, and I'm even worse at training. So I became very intentional after I let that person go, because it wasn't a fit, that I needed to identify why I hired, and then more importantly, what tasks I need to get rid of. So I have been tracking my time for a couple of weeks and just really seeing what's the time suck. And then again, paying attention to energy, because when you have MS, you have to manage your energy. And so I have to get the most bang for my buck. And I'm on an early morning mastermind every morning. I'm up at 5 a.m. It starts at 5:30 my time, because it's an East Coast thing. Um, so I know that that's going to take a certain amount of energy. So what do I have to do in the day? So then I'll start right after that. Then I roll right into my routine, and I don't stop until about noon or 1. And then I am a nap taker. So I take a nap. I usually set a timer, because Einstein took naps and he said no more than 15 minutes. And so I do that, and then I wake up refreshed. And a firefighter friend said, "Hey, if you drink an espresso right before you fall asleep, because it takes a little bit to kick in, right? So you fall asleep, right?" And he said, "You'll wake up and there's no grogginess." So there's times that I am able to do that. And then I put in another day's work, essentially. So I get 2 days out of every one. And I'm working from home right now. So if my kids come home, or if they need something, then I'm still here and I can do that. But I take care of my my sort of current clients before they wake up in the morning,
Hmm.
so that I'm ahead of their schedule and I don't feel behind on the day. And then I lead prospect in the morning, and then I follow up with emails right before nap. And then I sort of repeat the process. And when I have appointments, I usually try to schedule them between 2 and 6 in the evening.
Hmm.
So
Really
what I'm
interesting. Yeah.
doing, yeah, I'm just tracking what I don't do well, so that when I hire that leverage the next time, or when I find the AI system or the whatever it is, I can implement it knowing that I'm going to actually use it to its fullest ability.
Yeah, yeah. Very, very good. Yeah, first thing is my wife's a therapist, and she would tell you ADHD people like me can have espresso. I can have a double espresso at 10 o'clock at night and go to sleep.
I
So,
never tried it, but there you go.
so I never heard the part about have it like right before, because it does take a while to, hit your system. And if you can nap for 15, 20 minutes, I'm going to try it. I got to tell you.
Yeah, I have some clients that are firefighters and they swear by it. So
Okay, I'm going to give it a shot. I'll never heard of that. So, a few nuggets in there that were great, I think, was first how you start your day early, but that you're communicating to your customers early. I haven't heard that from too many agents, right? So when they're kind of waking up, getting started, they already have answers from the day before, or you're already hitting them with questions, and they know like you're on top of their business from 8 a.m., 9 a.m. in the morning. That is a interesting approach that I have not really heard from other agents.
it's really because the call ends at 6:30, and I preview houses online from 6:30 to 7. So from 7 to 8, that's my ounce of prevention with my clients. Really go through and triage, where are they out for the day? What are the deadlines for the day? What are we doing? Just so that they have that extra little bit of security.
Great, great. So now, looking to get the business back in scale, what else are you doing? Is it just, are you working, is it all database work? Tell me a little bit about where you see the business coming from now for 2025.
Well, I've kept adding to it, right? And I'm almost to 4,000 in my database. So I'm obviously not touching them at a high enough level. Other words, I would have more business than what I know to do with. So what I found is that the last year and a half dealing with other things, I became a secret agent, and I stopped talking about real estate because I got in my own head thinking that people didn't want to hear about real estate all the time. Turns out they actually do. When you look at the economy and what drives the economy, most of it are centered around the either real estate, where people have to live, they have to have someplace to live, or all the businesses that support it. So I've stopped feeling guilty about talking about it. I have an accountability group now that I run for following the DTD schedule, which is do the database too. And that's was created by a couple of amazing KW agents, and coaches, and so we call that, and I have had a fear of calling. So that's my big leap for first quarter, is to jump in and start calling people again. So
Okay. All right. Sounds like a plan. You certainly have a plan. So I love it.
I have a plan. You have the plan, run the plan, right?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah. You got to have the plan and have the vision and have the energy. And, you just exude that. And again, such a positive attitude. It's just delightful to hear. And I hope, others that are listening to this will just get some real inspiration from you coming out of this. So really appreciate the time, Renee. It was great, great meeting you. And I'm sure that we'll be promoting our YouTube channel here and get this out. And please follow Renee on social media and follow us as well and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, I really thank you for your time, Renee.
Thank you. I appreciate it.